Let's be honest, there's no guidebook when it comes to relationships. So we end up having to stumble through life trying to figure things out for ourselves. What if there was a podcast that found the answers for you, that provided insight to build a successful relationship and ultimately find the companionship you've always hoped for? Welcome to the Girls Ask Guys show, where we answer the questions most people are afraid to ask when it comes to lessons in life and love. It's time to master this thing called life together with your hosts, John and Ashley.
And welcome back to the Girls Ask Guys show. Today, we're going to start applying a little bit of astrology to the relationship. So what sign matches up with what sign, and is this something that you believe in? Because it actually happens to be something that is very popular.
It is. It's extremely popular. I mean, it's popular to the point that people believe it is an actual science. And I'm on the... See, astrology creeps me out because there are some serious accuracies. And there's some kind of sketchy... But I've never seen something very far off of my personality when I do read things about my astrological sign.
Yeah, and it's something that I kind of dabbled in, only because it's something that we were kind of studying just to add that little bit of mysteriousness into things. Like, you can look at somebody and figure out, okay, this is the kind of person they are just by general observation.
Right.
But if you can attach astrological sign or a palm reading to that, it just raises that bar just a little bit more. They want to know, okay, how did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah. And it does. It keeps people interested, especially if they're not wrong. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're not way off. It's kind of like, you know, those mediums. What was that guy's? Was it John Edwards? Was that his name?
Yeah, I think it was John Edwards.
Was it John Edwards? You know, the guy who had the show and got caught with all the plants in the audience. He mastered a technique called cold reading. If you know his name, please write in, because I don't actually think it's John Edwards.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but yeah, I know who you're talking about because, yeah, he did get caught with a lot of plants. And I was actually pretty good at cold reading.
Yeah.
And not doing it the way he was doing it, where he's actually hurting people by giving those so-called readings. But just, I could look at somebody and look at their hands and see what kind of rings they're wearing, and I can pretty much generally pinpoint the type of person they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's an actual science, or not an actual science, but it's a close science to where you can look at somebody's hand, look at the rings that they're wearing, and based on what finger it's on, generally tell what kind of person they are. It's actually kind of fun. And people are amazed when you can pull that off, and you're pretty damn close.
Yeah, I mean, and it's fun. It's also fun because it's just like a nice...
It's a good icebreaker.
Yeah, it's a good icebreaker. That's what I was going for. It's a good icebreaker. It's really fun to like kind of play around with human personality.
Well, anything that can take a conversation, or at worst, a date that is just tanking because it's not working. And then you can throw this in there, and all of a sudden, the entire thing does a complete 180, and it's one of the best dates you've ever been on.
Yeah, because you have that. It's almost like a it makes things easier. It's like a conduit to conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you can, as soon as you mention astrology, because people either like it or don't like it, there's always going to be more to talk about, and it's always going to be a good reoccurring joke to have. It's always going to be really fun to, you know, kind of be like, you're a Cancer, that's why you act like that. And really, it's not.
There are some people, they take it extremely seriously. Now, for myself, I can't see myself going up to somebody and start a conversation with them. Well, what's your sign? Leo. Well, yeah, we're not compatible. And pass. I can't do that. There are people out there that they do that because they are that into it and it works for them. For me, it just limits the amount of possibilities, because I am of the belief that anybody can be my one. I just haven't met him yet.
Mm-hmm. I can never see myself saying, "Oh, you're a Leo. Nope, we can't date." But I can see myself kind of looking up what a Leo is and understanding, you know, the personality traits of a Leo, because like every I don't think it's actually a pseudoscience. I do think there's merit to the concept of astrology. I think it's, you know, our bodies are 70% water. And we're kind of controlled by the tides, just like all that other stuff. So I do think there's some merit into astrology. However, I'm not going to completely reject someone because they're a certain sign. Now, I think what we should do though is always just be optimistic and be open to listening. If you're, if you meet somebody who's into it and they're really into it, remember, we say it all the time. Passion is sexy. So if you meet someone who's passionate about it and you're not that passionate, at least give them the courtesy to listen to them.
Or at least take some kind of interest in it and try to understand their point of view and why they are so into it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, be supportive.
Right, and you might
don't
learn
have to
something.
Participate, but you need to be at least supportive of it.
Yeah, and you might learn something, and it might be interesting for you too.
Yeah, there are things that I am completely not interested in, but the person that I'm going out with is interested. Like I don't care for auto mechanics. I went out with this girl, and she was like an auto mechanic genius, and I learned quite a bit from her. I mean, I did auto mechanics or equipment mechanics. I was more diesel engine, and I get lost on a gasoline engine. I have no clue what I'm looking at. Okay, that's radiator. Those are the heads. I have no idea what all these tubes and stuff are.
Right.
So, but yeah, she can sit there and go, oh yeah, it's this and this and that, and it connects over here and it goes over there. I'm like, whoa, slow down.
Really, like start from step one.
Yeah.
Where is the steering wheel? Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's do that. And I love when that happens, when you meet someone and they like something totally different than you, and you can kind of take that away from the relationship, even if it doesn't last.
And I learned quite a bit. I mean, there are things that I learned from her that, when my car doesn't start, I'm like, oh, yeah, she said, what was it that she did? Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. I go over here and I wiggle this and I check that and there it goes. Car starts.
My car's starting. Yeah.
It just saved me $750.
Right? And that's the beauty of relationships. That's the beauty of meeting new people. And I think if you base it on zodiac compatibility itself, you're clearly limiting yourself to the possibility that your soulmate's out there. I mean, I think pigeonholing yourself into saying, so I'm a Sagittarius. And so me pigeonholing myself into saying I'll only date Libras or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'll only date a Libra. I'm really pigeonholing myself into thinking that there's how many zodiac signs are there? Like 12.
12. Well, it depends on what zodiac you're following, because you have
whichever one,
what we think of the zodiac has 12, one for each. Roughly
moon cycle, right?
I think moon cycle. And then you have the Chinese and the Mayan, which, the Chinese, holy shit.
I would gather to say that the Chinese one, the Asian people are very smart.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not just book smart. They're very wise about how the world works.
Yeah, but it only comes up once every 12 years or something like that. It's the year of the rat, the year of the dragon, the year of the snake. So you only come up once every, 12 years, I think. I mean, the one that I really wouldn't want to be born under is the year of the rat or the year of the pig.
I'm the year of the monkey, in case anyone cares. That is what my Chinese zodiac symbol is. But the Western, I guess we're going to call them Western zodiacs. I don't know. Whoever knows, if you know astrology very well, please correct us on all this stuff, because we barely know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's just a question that was posed. And
it's a good one.
Actually, we didn't read what the question was.
Oh, we didn't. Would you like to read the question, John? There we go.
Yeah, actually, let's start off with the question. We can actually put all this stuff in context. Okay, the whole zodiac compatibility deal, true, or is it just coincidence? So this actually was sent to us by an anonymous person, and they asked, or they explain, I don't take horoscopes seriously myself. It is just fun. It's just a fun thing to read through when you're bored. But I've noticed a pattern when it comes to my relationships. I'm a Scorpio, and every girl I've found myself strongly drawn to is a Cancer or a Pisces. And I usually find that they're zodiac signs after I've fallen for them. So it's not some kind of placebo effect. What do you think? Do you have similar experiences?
I do, actually. A very incredibly similar experience. I'm a Sagittarius myself, and I find myself Cancers and Geminis tend to be the people who are the most attracted to me. And like this anonymous person says, I find out after, and then I get creeped out because it's almost as if there is, like I said, there's almost a merit to it, and these people, I guess it could be because zodiac signs, reflect your personality and you're attracted to a certain person and a certain type of person. So of course you're more likely to date people within that zodiac sign.
Yeah. I mean, for myself, I'm like this person here. I'm also a Scorpio. I've really never paid that much attention to the zodiac. So I really couldn't tell if I'm like them, where I'm drawn more to a Cancer or a Pisces. I really can't say that those are the people I'm drawn to. One, I'm very rarely am I asked what my sign is, and two, I really don't ask. However, when I do look at what it says about me, it's about 50-50. They say that I'm like profound and mysterious. True. And I can be a powerful and invested partner. True. However, when it comes to being torn between two different passions, or that I'm cold, secret, and distrustful, that's not true. I guess in general, population-wise, I could be that 1% outlier.
That's the thing. It's not a blanket. I think that's where people get astrology mixed up. Astrology is simply just a science, or some sort of I would call it
like a guide.
Social science. Yeah, it's a guide. It doesn't necessarily mean that every Scorpio is going to, rob and steal from you. No, that's not what it means. It means it's a guide. It's a baseline for personality. But your personality develops not just by your astrological sign, but by your experience, by your genetics, by all of those things. So, of course, everything is not going to be right.
Actually, it'd be a good social experiment, because I don't think with the training and everything that I have, I don't think we actually did a in-depth social experiment to see if this works or not, or it doesn't work.
It might. I mean, I think women are more into astrology than men are, and I think men kind of use astrology as a way to pretend to listen to women while they talk.
Could be.
Right? Like, because rarely do you meet a man who's like talking to you about astrology, and when you do, he almost comes off as creepy. But when you meet, most women will talk to you about their sign and ask you, what's your sign? Ooh, you're a Scorpio. Ooh, you're this, and it always comes out with like, oh, you're like that.
I think that possibly comes from, girls, when they hang out and they go back to like junior high days, you have the slumber parties, and I don't know, Cosmo is sitting out, so you're kind of going through, and those become topics. Guys, when we had sleepovers, we were breaking out like the water guns, the paintball guns, the video games.
Playboys.
And, we're surfing porn. So, our conversations were like totally different than what girls would talk about. So they're more adept to those type of topics than guys.
Yeah, I've heard women say, I'll report. Yeah.
If I sat down with my guy friends and we started talking astrology, they would probably look at me and say, you need to go home.
Right. Or to the girl slumber party. It is. It's a very feminine topic, and that doesn't, pigeonhole it into only women. But I think it does. I think what it does is it gives you more of an explanation, because I know a lot of times women do. We ask all the time, "What's your sign? What's your sign? What's your sign?" And it's just part of it's a joke. At least on my. And some women are very serious. Some people are very serious about astrology, and they really believe it is the end all be all of someone's personality.
Hitler was like that.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough, Hitler believed huge in astrology.
That man was taking cocaine eye drops, so I think he would believe anything.
True. One of those little facts about astrology that I found interesting. I was like, really? That I didn't know. We know everything else about him except that.
Yeah, and that's so funny to think of. This man who had eugenics down to a science and wanted to eradicate and create a master race also believed in the stars. You know what I mean?
Well, Nancy Reagan was that way. It wasn't so much astrology, but it was, for the lack of a better term, it was metaphysics.
Yeah, there's some merit to metaphysics. like I said, there's some merit to all of this. I just don't think it's something you base an entire preference
relationship
on.
or your entire life off of.
Right.
I personally wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make my decision based off of an astrological sign or something like
I
that.
would never do that. Ooh, you know what we should do? We should look at our signs, and we should see how accurate they are.
Yeah, actually, well, I already kind of covered mine, where it said that I'm a powerful invested partner. Very true. As far as conflicting passions, not true. What I am going to do is take it one level further, because underneath the astrological signs, it's broken up into 4 different categories.
Ooh.
So you have the water, fire, earth, and air sign. And I fall under, or at least Scorpio falls underneath the water sign.
I am a fire sign.
Ooh, okay. So we can't get any further apart because water and fire don't mix.
Right? See, this is why we have such a great show.
Yes. But underneath the water sign, it says that Scorpio, or people who fall underneath water, which is the Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, we are highly intuitive, very true. I'm always researching, always delving, and always looking for something. And I don't stop until my questions are answered. They can be mysterious as the ocean, very true, because I don't release everything to everybody all at once. I always keep something back. Okay, what is it about this person that is so intriguing? Love profound conversations. Yeah, as you can realize, I don't shut up.
He tries. He does do his best. I will give him credit.
Yeah, and intimacy. So yes, intimacy is one of my big things. And let's see, the last part of this, rarely do anything openly. Not 100% true. I would say that's 50%. There to support their loved ones. Yes, I'm always there.
Aw. You're just a good friend.
Yeah. I get myself a pat on the back.
Oh, look at you. You're the best friend.
I'll go get a Scooby snack later.
Yeah, right. Well, let's see. So as a Sagittarius, apparently my strengths come from me being generous, which I actually agree with. I'm idealistic, which is very true also. I'm a dreamer and I have huge plans to take over the world. Everybody be careful. And I have a great sense of humor, which I do. My weaknesses, I promise more than I can deliver. More than likely, yeah. I'll say anything, no matter how undiplomatic. Yeah, my God, yes. I mean, I have foot and mouth disease, and not the one that babies get. I literally have put my foot in my mouth more times than I can count, and it's not because I meant to, but
yeah,
this is how I talk.
I've done that before. I've done it on stage. Which is really bad.
Oh, dude, I do it all the time. And it's horrible. I feel so bad sometimes because I can catch it. I
usually catch it afterwards.
Right. And I was going to say, but it's after. And then I'm like, oh, dear God, that was awful. Or I'll laugh really hard. I laugh at the most inappropriate moments every single time. And I should not be. You shouldn't be laughing, but.
I've done that. I've actually been staring down an inmate who is ready to kick my ass. And he's getting more and more pissed because I'm sitting there with a big ass grin on my face.
Right. You just look ridiculous.
Yeah, everybody's like, what are you fucking smiling at? I'm not smiling. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you look stupid. And then it's bad because you do. You look kind of like an asshole. You look like you are, but it's not my fault. Yeah. I don't mean to. I have a very dark sense of humor. So I find things funny and I'll read into things that aren't necessarily technically funny. I don't appreciate that.
I kind of have a weird sense of humor myself, so I can relate to that. I guess I'm more of a steam sign.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Okay, so what does it say about you as a lover, or is that what you just read?
As far as a lover, it was included as, if I put the two together, so if I take what it actually says about Scorpios and a water sign, it says, let's see, love profound intimacy and powerful and invested partner. I'd have to say that is absolutely true, because when I commit to somebody, it's 100%. It's full on commitment. Now, I don't go overboard where I start professing my undying love and start sending flowers and planning the wedding and stuff. No, I'm just there. I'm fully invested.
I see.
I've seen those guys where, yeah, as soon as they sleep with somebody, they're planning the wedding and roll the credits, please. Happy ever ending.
Yeah. Like, you just breathed on me. Here's my wallet, and this is your new last name. You know, yeah, it's true. I mean, and it's very funny because it says about Sagittarius lovers, it says, like, for this sign, there's always a thin line between love and sex, which is hilarious because when we were talking about open relationships, I basically said just that. And so this is where astrology starts to creep me the hell out, because I don't think that's necessarily true for everybody. Like, for you, there is no thin line. You know, they kind of go hand in hand, but for me, it's like, you know, they're a little different. So I do think, like I said, I always say this has merit. There's some good stuff, because when I read all those strengths and weaknesses, yeah, I have every single one of those. But then I think about it, don't most people?
I think they do, because actually I'm going over the, because in the last show, when I talked about open relationship and the sexual connection type thing. So I'm reading over the jealousy part. And while I don't agree personally, again, I could be that 1% outlier. I don't feel betrayed at every little thing.
Right.
But if a betrayal does happen, yeah, I do feel it very deeply.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with that part.
See? And it's like, that's where astrology, see, and then you read compatibility, like, let's say, I'm going to go to Sagittarius compatibility. And I look at my exes, and I'm like, okay, well, I dated a Virgo. Oh my gosh, it keeps going to Gemini. It's really annoying. I dated a Virgo, and it didn't end very well, and it was not my favorite relationship of all time. And it says, Virgo and Sagittarius don't make a fairy tale couple in most cases. Yeah. Like, you want to talk about like, what is the opposite of a fairy tale? A tragedy? That is exactly what happened.
If I look at behaviors of Scorpios in love, I'd have to actually go with this one. Want to experience the extremes, the highs and the lows, totally emotional and physical experience, yes. And I can't remember I've almost every show in which we do anything on relationships, I'm always talking about that communication and honesty, something that I value. But the positive, under the positive behaviors, resourceful, honest, protective, yes. Faithful, constant, endearing. I think I've pretty much covered that.
Right.
Passionate and unrestricted in bedroom, or unrestrained in the bedroom, unless you put me in there with like 2 or 3 other people, and then I'm, yeah, the restraints go on.
Oh, that's funny. You're funny. That's really fucking funny, dude. That's actually hilarious.
But yeah, I'd have to agree with every one of those. But the challenging behaviors that they have on me is cold, secretive, and distrustful. No. Controlling, possessive, and obsessive. No. Vengeful and hurtful. No. I'm able to just simply walk away.
Right.
I don't look for revenge. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. And I'm not distrustful. I'm more distrustful of the other person than I am of the person I'm with.
Yeah, I'm more distrustful of the person I'm with, definitely. I would never in my life put the blame on the other person.
Well, to me, and this was a class that we used to give, and it's kind of weird when you actually sit back and you look at it. As the relationship progresses, there's a power shift where the guy, he becomes very comfortable in the relationship, and that's where he wants to maintain it because that's where he feels safe. While the girl is actually trying to move things forward. What the guy doesn't realize is that the more he sits in that comfort zone, the more distrustful he gets and more needy he gets, because he starts doubting that he's going to be able to get another girl.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, the girl, she's going out, and whether she's in a committed relationship or not, guys are constantly approaching her. So her level of looking at and trying to fit, can I get another guy? Yeah, it's all she has to do is turn around and say yes.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
I'm more distrustful of other guys with her than I am of her saying yes to somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's a guy thing, though.
It is.
Like, you're right. You know
thing.
what I mean? You're right, but I just don't see it that way. I think that person, when it comes to infidelity of any sort of type, the person who I don't know owes me no loyalty. So whatever they're doing, purely selfish pursuits, they're not the ones who I've put my trust in. And so I can't, so even if, let's say I get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the person I marry decides to have an affair. Yeah. I don't care about the other person. Even if they know that my spouse is married, I don't care about that. Because to be quite frank, they owe me no loyalty. None. And it's not like, oh, well, that's what a decent person would do. They're following what they feel.
I guess I would have, for myself, it's not so much like a total stranger who owes me absolutely nothing, but it'd be like somebody that I knew more as like an acquaintance.
Oh, if it was someone I knew, I'd knock them the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've seen that happen. And when I was in the military, we'd be in the barracks, and when you live in that close proximity, you kind of know everybody, but you don't really like know them. And I would bring a girl up, and I've got like 5 or 6 guys. All of them, all of a sudden, they want to come over and talk. And yeah, they don't want to talk to me. They're hitting on the girl that I'm going out with.
Ah.
So those are the kind of people that I don't trust. They don't owe me anything, but yeah, you're about to make an enemy.
Right, because I'm not a big fan of infidelity, as everyone knows. I think that's how you get punched in the mouth. And I'm also not a big fan of the idea that, like you said, like if you like when you were in the military, like the dorm or the barracks and all that stuff. When you kind of know someone and they go ahead and cross that line, it's different. But if it's just a complete stranger, that stranger is not my issue. You know what? If you want to be with them, go be with them. But at the end of the day, I have no resentment towards the stranger. I have a resentment towards the person who I gave my heart to, who I trusted not to fuck me over. That's
where I think these signs, they come in, it's very accurate for me up to a point, but I don't consider myself as controlling or possessive or obsessive with the girl that I'm with. And if she turns around and decides she's going to cheat or go someplace else, I'm not vengeful. I mean, I do feel it very deeply, but I'm not vengeful. Had that happen, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'm willing to separate and walk away. And I've been in some deep relationships, and yeah, I think we should take a break. Okay.
Yeah, I don't do breaks. It's either a breakup or we're staying together. I don't believe in breaks. Breaks to me just seem like a reason to, when people say we need to take a break, I think it's a cop out to being afraid of expressing that you really don't want to be with the person.
To me, it's we're either on or off. We're not going into limbo.
Mm-hmm.
Limbo, we're not going forward and we're not going backwards. A break, all you are is going backwards. So, I mean, let's call it what it is.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, address the elephant in the room. You're not happy.
Exactly. And then say, I'm not happy. Instead of saying we need a break, just say, I'm not happy. Because as soon as you say, I'm not happy, my question is, okay, how can we fix it?
Yeah, I've been on dates where, it wasn't going well. And I was just like, you're feeling kind of awkward, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. How about we start over and just count that as a practice round?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of dancing around the issue, just address the issue.
Yes.
Let's see. Back to our question here. Let's see. Yeah. What do I think? Or do I believe in astrological signs as far as how the relationship can go? I personally don't. I think they're very fun. I've had fun doing the show, kind of looking over, okay, yeah, I agree with this, I agree with that. But for myself, I'm not going to limit myself as to how I'm going to choose a partner just because they happen to be a Cancer or a Pisces.
Right. And I agree. I actually agree with that wholeheartedly. I think there's, like I say always, there's some merit. And of course, astrological signs and all of that jazz. But really, it's just it's like anything. It's a guidebook. And if you know the person, you guys can sit down and talk about your astrological signs and read about them, see how compatible you are. And I don't think it hurts to get some sort of insight into a way to make your relationship work better. But I think completely basing your entire relationship compatibility off of 12 signs when we don't even know how many freaking stars are out there.
Yeah.
Is it's a little insane, and honestly, it's a bit irrational because you're just pigeonholing yourself. You need to be, if you want to find someone you love, you need to be open to all experiences, and you need to be willing to experience them, whether it's a Gemini or a Taurus or a Scorpio, whatever.
Yeah, like I said, I believe anybody can be my one. I just haven't found him yet. So why am I going to sit back and go, okay, my one can only be born between this time and this time? I mean, I just took the entire population of the world and whittled it down to maybe a few million out of a few billion. I mean, could be even less than that if I start separating out, okay, too young, too old,
much less,
and whatever else, unemployed, total bitch. I mean, oh my gosh, now I'm down to a couple hundred.
Yeah, once you eliminate the total bitch from women, you're down to like 3. So I mean, and then if you want to throw an astrological sign, chances are your soulmate doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I think using it as that way, I think using it in that way is a crutch and sort of an excuse.
I would say,
and I don't think it's okay.
Just with the amount of people that I've come in contact with and have shown how to meet somebody and then try to have set up a successful relationship, and the amount of excuses that come about. This would be one of those. How come you're not meeting anybody? Well, because I don't know when they were born. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right. Yeah. They're a Scorpio. Like, okay, so what does that fucking mean? Like, what does that mean to you? And it's not like an exact science, once again, so you can't just kind of hope for this, you know? Like,
I would say have fun with it, but don't totally rely on it.
Right, exactly. Have fun with it. Make it, it's a great conversation starter, as we said before. It's a great way to talk about people.
Yeah.
Or not talk to people. It's a great way to do that.
Oh, I just want to use that as an introduction. That'll probably weird some people out.
My name's Ashley and I'm a Scorpio. You know, like...
excuse me, what's your sign?
Yeah, really.
I mean, it could work depending on the environment, but as a general
consensus,
I would say for like later in the date, or if the date's going bad, use it as a rescue.
Yeah, but never as a full-blown idea. Like, it's not the full end-all be-all of how you find your partner. I agree.
Yeah, but I think with that, we are out of time.
Cool.
That's all for this episode of the Girls Ask Guys show, where all of us learn to master this thing called life together. For more answers to your questions on life and love, be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss a single episode. And head to girlsaskguyshow.com to submit your questions for a future episode or apply to be a guest on the show. Good luck out there, and we'll catch you next time, right here on the Girls Ask Guys show.